What is going on, everybody? This is Mike from the Last Corvette. So here is the club car. It is filthy. We took it on the trails last night. But this video is more about the miles per hour and what to do and what not to do, or possibly what to try if you really want to kind of squeeze out every single mile per hour out of your stock golf cart. So we're going to talk about club cars. We're going to talk about obviously the 9-horse and the 12-horse Kawasaki engine, 4-stroke engine, or engines that came with these golf carts. Let me start out by saying this. As you guys know, like in the first couple of videos when I first purchased this golf cart, I clearly stated that the reason I sold my E-Z-GO electric is because I wanted to basically not overspend on an electric golf cart, right? There's the market value, there's this, and just go with the gas-powered golf cart. A lot of it was driven by, obviously, that. There was also, I wanted a newer golf cart. I wanted a golf cart with a little bit more, we'll say, upside to it when it comes to resale value, and just overall newer golf cart that looks better than the E-Z-GO. I'm not saying E-Z-GO was a trash golf cart, but I did put a lot of money into it. Did everything myself. But at the end of the day, like I said, I reached a point, and then also the kids were just like all over the place when it came to charging the golf cart. I pretty much had to stay on top of it because they would take the golf cart out, they would forget to charge it. I would go to use it, it'd be like half dead, or half range in it, or they would forget to flick the switch and actually change the battery capacity or the range meter. Anyway, long story short, we ended up with this club car. Now, electric and gas golf carts, they all do the same mile per hour. So in base stock form, they get 14 to 15 miles per hour. Of course, some are slower, some are slightly faster, just like any other motorized vehicle. But 14 to 15 is all you're going to get. This club car came from a campsite, okay? So it was completely stock. When I say stock, the engine-wise. And when I first got it, I used Waze as far as the app goes for like navigation, also just to do quick mile per hour checks. Hitting 15 miles per hour. Now, mind you, governor is in place, rev limiter is in place. First thing that I did is what everyone calls it, the club car governor zip tie mod. And essentially, that's exactly what it is. You take a zip tie. You want to use what I found out through trial and error, and that's part of the reason why I'm making this video. You want to use a thin zip tie, thickness-wise. Something that slips in nice and easy and just kind of free floats over the governor spring. And the governor spring is in the back, right next to the throttle arm, basically. And to gain access to it, you will have to remove the club car access panel. It's a black panel between the first row and the second row if you have it. And it's just 2 push pins. Sometimes they'll have fasteners. You remove it and leave it off. And I'll explain why you want to leave it off, because that's something that I've learned. So the idea behind this first modification is to limit the spring, okay? And then if you limit the spring, that means that you can raise the RPMs, basically feed more throttle to the engine itself. But the key is that balance, and that's what pretty much no one talks about, is, you know, gaining X amount of horsepower without setting off your rev limiter, because your rev limiter looks at the RPMs. And yes, I have an RPM gauge on my golf cart, one of the first mods that I did, and then we'll get into the rev limiter later in this video, second portion of this video. So the governor is just there, right? You feed the spring, or you feed the zip tie through the spring, and then you just do like a 1 or 2 clicks to just know that the zip tie is not going to fly off, go anywhere. With the cover off, with the engine warmed up, with you driving the golf cart, and of course having a GPS device like your phone in a Waze app, for example, like I do. Lay it right, on the seat or a cup holder and go full throttle. You probably will see that nothing has changed. You're still hitting 15, 16 miles an hour. Then slowly start adding clicks. And like I started, the last time I did it, which was over this weekend, this past weekend, I actually counted the clicks. So, zip ties go click, 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 click. And you want to reach that sweet spot where it's wide open throttle. Like for me, it's 18 to 19 miles per hour, going from 15 miles per hour. So 20 miles per hour downhill. How's that? So almost like 5 miles an hour gain. Pretty good. but it's not hitting the rev limiter, right? So if you over compress that spring, it's going to over rev, and it's going to make driving the golf cart, unpleasant. It's just constantly going to cut out spark. And then when it cuts out spark, you have fuel and exhaust and everything else. So then when it reignites, you will get backfires, or it's just going to be herky-jerky ride, almost kind of like being in a horse carriage. So anyway, so that's what you do, is you slowly, accelerate, and then you look at your GPS, you verify that, hey, okay, this click gained one mile per hour, and then you just add clicks until you've reached that 18 mile per hour, 19 mile per hour safe zone. And that's all you're going to get with the rev limiter connected. Only other way to go faster is obviously a taller tire, so taller than what I have on it now. And then it would be, possibly a different engine, a built engine, higher revving engine, right? Or it would be, basically unhooking the rev limiter. So if you watch videos, that's another one. There is so much out there, but nobody really explains to you how to bypass the rev limiter. And there's 2 black wires and a gray wire. The gray wire is the ground wire to the module, and it basically bolts right to the block. The rev limiter is a black box. That is, if you open your engine compartment, so flip the seat forward, if you're looking at the engine, it's going to be right there, basically facing the front of the golf cart on the bottom. If you unbolt the ground and you leave the ground off, and you'll see this in different write-ups, it bypasses the rev limiter. So now you can actually go and fully compress the governor spring, and you will start revving your engine into the 5s, even like the 6,000 RPM range. Now, your safe zone for these Kawasaki's is like 4,500 RPM max. And then that's where the rev limiter usually kicks in around like 46. And the same thing, it's trying to save your engine, because even a good engine like mine, if I was to kind of constantly be heavy-footed and have everything unhooked, it's going to blow. It's not going to last very long. And in some cases, you can just grenade the engine, and then you're in a position where you're either building an engine now or buying a replacement engine, new or used. So I did do a test, and I'm going to be honest with you. So I unhooked it, and the engine was fully warmed, and I did 2 runs up and down the street, and I was able to get to 27 miles per hour with it. And engine, everything sounded like it was on the verge of just destruction. So, and that was it. I parked it. I put the rev limiter, my ground wire to the rev limiter back on. So if anyone wants to know, on a 12-inch tire, no rev limiter, spring fully compressed, 27-ish, 28, maybe 30 if I was going downhill, but I wasn't going to take that chance. That's all you're going to get, up to 30 miles per hour, but very, very unsafe to do so. Now, some people will say, well, if you have an RPM gauge and you can keep track of your RPMs, why don't you just, feather the throttle and drive at 15, 16, 17, 18 miles per hour, keep the RPMs low, and then when you really need to step on it, you step on it. It's true, but who's going to do that? Most of the time, I don't drive my golf cart wide open throttle, but if you have that ability, if you have that power, or if somebody jumps on your golf cart that has no idea what's been done to it, they're going to go wide open throttle and probably grenade that engine. So, a couple of things. Zip tie mod, you can do safely. Just don't constantly run the golf cart wide open throttle. Zip tie mod, fully compressed spring with the rev limiter unhooked, that's just a ticking time bomb. And hopefully I kind of explained the miles per hour and what you can get out of it. I would say safely, zip tie mod, rev limiter in place, hooked up, and a taller tire is all you need to get into the 20s easily. Talk to you guys later.